Well, good morning, afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're joining us from. Welcome back here to the launch pad and our continued live mission coverage of Soyuz MS-20 heading up to the International Space Station with two brand new Japanese space tourists, MZ and Yozo, launched late last night for those of us in North America and have been in orbit approaching the ISS through the evening and early morning and are now just about an hour away from docking with the International Space Station. As they make their final approach, we're going to patch into NASA Mission Control and listen in for that final docking coverage. And we'll be patching through also Roscosmos's live technical feeds to have those views of the Soyuz capsule as it makes its approach. As we get started, as always, let us know it's your first time here. We'd love to welcome you here. Take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out. We're going to be live for the next few hours, as we do have about an hour until docking. And then a couple hours later, we expect the hatch opening and welcome ceremony to begin. So during that time, we'll take a quick commentary break, have the ISS live tracker up like we do now, and await that hatch opening ceremony and then the welcoming of these two new space tourists onto the International Space Station. We're glad to have you all here. I know we had a few questions on the cost of this mission. We do know Russia normally charges about $95 million per seat for the launch of Soyuz. And if you want to know how much it costs to stay at the International Space Station, actually head on over to our channel. We have a video on that whole cost breakdown on if you are a commercial tourist or just a private space tourist and what that cost is. Believe it or not, it's actually by the hour some of the stuff you have to pay for, and some of the other parts are based on per kilogram. So really interesting to see here. I'll try to get a link to drop in the chat as well, but if you're just joining us just in time for our live coverage, as we expect Roscosmos and NASA to begin their coming up coverage here of the docking and approach and docking of the Soyuz MS-20 craft. Joe, Dragon would have taken 22 hours. Yeah, Dragon, they don't rush. They take their time to do the approach here, but they do a lot of stuff on the way as well, generally. Gabriella, hey, from Australia, great to see you. Here we go, awesome. Lots of people joining in from all over the world. If you're new, let us know where you're tuning in from. We'd love to welcome you in. And take a moment, hit that like and subscribe, and share out the broadcast. Let people know that we're less than an hour away from docking here, which if you really think about what they're doing, you are docking two crafts that are traveling at tens of thousands of kilometers an hour, just hundreds of kilometers above the surface. If you've ever taken a plane flight somewhere, if you have flown more than about 45 to 50 minutes, you have flown a further distance than these guys have just gone straight up. It's always really fascinating, I think, to kind of think about that. But NASA's going live here. Let's listen into Mission Control for an update on how things are progressing.
Morning from the International Space Station Flight Control Room in Houston, Texas. Two Japanese spaceflight participants and a veteran Russian cosmonaut are on their way to the International Space Station in the Soyuz MS-20 spacecraft for an arrival to the orbital outpost about 41 minutes from now. Leading the team here in Mission Control Houston today for rendezvous and docking is Flight Director Jeff Radigan. Teams here in Mission Control are a go for Soyuz final approach this morning. Flight controllers here in Mission Control Houston are working with their counterparts across the world in the Russian Mission Control Center in the town of Koryov on the outskirts of Moscow. As the Soyuz MS-20, carrying veteran cosmonaut Alexander Mazurkin, now on his third flight to space, and Japanese spaceflight participants Yusaku Maezawa and Yozo Hirano are nearing the end of a 4-orbit, 6-hour journey to the International Space Station, with a docking scheduled to the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the station at 7:41 a.m. Central Time, 8:41 a.m. Eastern. Their journey to the International Space Station began at 1:38 a.m. Central Time, 2:38 a.m. Eastern Time. For a flawless ascent, whether the launch pad was 26 degrees Fahrenheit with partly cloudy skies, Received some in-cabin views. In the view on the right is Yusaku Maezawa and Soyuz Commander Alexander Mazurkin in the center of your screen.
On your screen now is a live view of the technical feed on board the Soyuz as they approached. You can see the International Space Station. You can see all the little points that they track as they make their final approach to make sure that it's absolutely perfectly lined up with that capsule. Just like we see with the Dragon when it makes its approach, both crew and cargo, there are waypoints that they make their way through. Soyuz goes through those same waypoints as it slowly approaches the station to ensure both the capsule and the Soyuz's safety.
In the center seat of the descent module of the Soyuz will be at the controls in the unlikely event that he would have to take over manual flying control of the Soyuz for its docking. Again, Russian cosmonaut Mazurkin is on his third flight into space. Seated to his left in this photo is Japanese spaceflight participant Yozo Hirano, and to his right is Yusaku Maezawa. The crew will spend almost 12 days on the orbital outpost conducting a program of activities that involve showcasing spaceflight back to the people of Japan. Maezawa and Murano are making their journey into space under a contract between Space Adventures and Roscosmos. Mazurkin, Maezawa, and Hirano will not become expedition crew members, but rather Mazurkin, a visiting crew member, and Maezawa and Hirano will be spaceflight participants. They will return to Earth on December 19th U.S. time, December 20th Kazakhstan time, in the MS-20 vehicle they are arriving in today.
Current range is 4 kilometers. Closing rate is 8 meters per second.
Вас понял.
Copy.
So you just heard there that Soyuz is approaching at 8 meters a second to the
Once the crew
International
floats through
Space
the hatch
Station.
later this morning, expected around 9:35 a.m. Central Time, the crew will be greeted by Station Commander Anton Shkaplerov and the rest of the Expedition 66 crew. From left to right on your screen, NASA astronauts Rajachari and Tom Marshburn, European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer, Roscosmos cosmonauts Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov, and NASA astronauts Kayla Barron and Mark Vande Hei. Before we went on air today, Pyotr Dubrov aboard the station established a voice contact with Mazurkin aboard the Soyuz.
У нас есть пропадание картинки.
Alexander, we don't have the video right now. What is the current range and range rate?
Принял. Текущий
Copy. Range is 3,200 meters and range rate is 8 meters per second, 1.71077.
Принято.
Copy.
Штатно.
Everything is nominal.
As the Soyuz gets a bit closer to the International Space Station, it will conduct an automated fly-around to precisely align its forward docking probe in the direction of the Poisk docking port. That fly-around will start at a range of about 400 meters from the International Space Station. So the Soyuz will conduct that fly-around before a brief period of station keeping to enable flight controllers in Koryov to take a look and make sure they're happy with the alignment of the Soyuz for its final approach and docking.
Так, ожидаем третью коррекцию.
Standing by for the third orbital correction.
Утверждаю. Текущая дальность
As affirmative, current range is 2,500 meters
0,9.
and range rate is 7.9 meters per second.
Принято.
Copy.
We're getting a view now from the data that the crew aboard the Soyuz is getting.
Maneuver confirmed. The station has moved to the right and down.
Принято.
Copy.
Ожидаю подвод режима стабил.
Standing by for stabilization mode setup. Indication.
Once that docking occurs this morning, there will be a few moments to allow the relative motion between the two vehicles to dampen out against one another. That will initiate the retraction of the docking probe to bring the two docking interfaces firm against one another and initiate the closing of the hooks.
And X point 45.
Набранный импульс 4,5. Выключение.
Coordinates 3 to 4.5. Escada deactivation 4.87.
Принято.
Copy. And I confirm the maneuver.
Текущая дальность 1800.
Current range is 1,800 meters, and the closing rate is 4 meters per second.
I can see ISS. Really?
Yeah, we heard that still. That whisper was still on comms, but if you guys have questions, keep sending those into the chat. I will be glad to answer
Наблюдаю
those
станцию на
as
экране.
the
I see
docking
the station
progresses.
on the video monitor screen.
Принято.
Copy.
Есть обобщенное ГСО, ГСО-1.
GSO in attitude confirmed. GSO 1, 2, 3, and 4. The station is at the center of the crosshairs, and the video monitor range is 1,600 meters, and range rate is 4 meters per second. Copy.
Саш, ну, по вашему усмотрению.
Alexander, per your discretion, you can switch to agency mode. Copy. Thanks.
And there's our first view of the Soyuz MS-20, closing in on the International Space Station on the tail end of its 4-orbit 6-hour journey.
1430, and the range rate is 3
Принял.
meters per second. Copy.
The Soyuz and the International Space Station just flew into an orbital sunrise over the South Pacific. The Soyuz is currently conducting a series of impulse burns. Those burns are small thruster firings from the engine that will enable the Soyuz to more precisely fine-tune its course to the International Space Station.
Дальность 1220 метров.
Range is 1,220 meters, and range rate is 3.8 meters per second.
Принял.
Станция
Copy. The station is at the center of the crosshairs.
Да, тоже наблюдаем по картинке.
Yes, and we confirm that. We can see it on the video. That's good.
If you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad and our live coverage as Soyuz MS-20 rendezvous and docks with the International Space Station. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. My name's Zach. I'm the host here at TLP. We're glad you're here with us. We're going to keep listening into both Moscow Mission Control and Houston as they make the approach, as well as the Soyuz and ISS crews. But if you guys have questions, keep sending those in the chat, and we'll be answering those in the actual chat as we await the Soyuz crew to arrive at the International Space Station.
And make sure they're happy with the alignment of the Soyuz for its final approach and docking.
70 метров.
Range is 970 meters, range rate 2.6. Copy.
Уменьшаются угловые скорости коррекции.
Angular rates are decreasing. Range is 900 meters and range rate 2.5 meters per second. We are monitoring DPO operation.
метров.
850 meters. This is the range. Range rate is 2.3 meters per second.
Принято.
Copy.
800 метров текущая дальность.
Current range is 800 meters. Range rate 2.1. And DPO operation LED is off.
Принято.
Omega
Слово
is 4.1.77.
Принято, да.
077. This is the value of the inaudible.
Стас, как оцениваешь по ВКУ?
Alexander, so what do you think about the ISS image that you have on the monitor? I can only see the contour of the station, and the image itself is not very clear.
670 метров текущая дальность.
Current range is 670 meters.
Fast time. Could you
The Soyuz MS-20 in view above a solar array aboard the International Space Station, carrying a veteran Russian cosmonaut and 2 Japanese spaceflight participants, now flying over the Pacific Ocean on their way to dock with the International Space Station.
Really interesting look at some of the behind-the-scenes systems of what they are looking at as they work to approach the International Space Station there. Quickly pull up that live full feed here, but bring back that live look from the International Space Station as they make their approach.
Текущая дальность 500.
Current range is 580 meters. Range rate 1.4 meters per second.
そこずっと押さえたら。
Copy.
Now under 2 minutes away from the fly-around by the Soyuz. Again, that milestone comes about 400 meters from the station.
Stand by for final approach envelope.
метров дальность, скорость.
Current range is 520 meters. Range rate is 1.44 meters per second. Copy.
The Soyuz MS-20 now under 500 meters away from the International Space Station.
Docking です。残り463メーター。 450 метров текущая дальность.
Current range is 450 meters. Range rate is 1.4.
Принято.
Copy.
440 meters now separating the Soyuz from the International Space Station.
метров дальность.
Range is 400 meters. And I confirm that that the mode has changed to that of fly around. Depot operation indication is on. Fly around plane is being generated.
70 метров, скорость 1.
Range is 370 meters and range rate is 1 meter per second.
And the fly around is now underway at a range of about 400 meters. All of these events happening right on the timeline, and everything is still proceeding as expected. Again, this fly around of the station will last for just a few minutes, resulting in station keeping for a brief period of time to enable the Russian flight control team to assess the vehicle's systems before they reinitiate the spacecraft's approach for contact and capture, scheduled for 7:41 a.m. Central Time, 8:41 a.m. Eastern.
Саш, я напомню насчет того,
Alexander,
что контролируется
reminder, please monitor
К-15. Озвучить надо.
the K-15 parameter and please provide a running commentary.
And we're in a brief period of handover between satellites. We should be regaining these communications here shortly.
So this time, both Moscow and Houston don't have cams.
Range is 300 meters. Range rate 0.65 meters per second.
290 метров, скорость.
290 meters. This is the current range and range rate 0.65. Copy all.
Now about halfway through the fly around.
Hopefully we'll get a little bit of a live view of the fly around here. Looks like they may be getting re-established connection here for the camera feeds. There we go.
270 метров.
Current range is 270 meters. Range rate 0.64.
Большой диаметр СМ около клетки.
Some large diameter is
Прием.
next to the square on the screen. Copy.
That next milestone of station keeping will come at about 210 meters. The Soyuz now 250 meters away from the International Space Station.
0.48 meters per second.
И этот К-15, когда загорится, скажи.
Please report when you see that K-15 indication is illuminated. Yes, will do.
метров.
Current range is 230 meters. Range rate is 0.3 meters per second.
(225 meters and closing).
220 метров далее.
Current range is 220 meters. Range rate is 0.17.
Перезагружается у нас.
Принято.
Input 1, control panel input 1 is being rebooted
16:22:20, да?
at 16:22:20. Is that correct time of the reboot? Yes.
Самопроизвольно.
And was it a random reboot? Yes, correct.
Принял.
Copy.
Вышли в верхнюю полусферу станции.
And I am observing MRM2 in the upper sphere of the station, which is also on the screen. Current range is 210 meters and range rate is 0.13.
Принято.
Copy.
Есть перезагрузка НПО-1.
Input 1 reboot confirmed.
Принято.
Copy.
ローンチが10時38分。約6時間。ステーションまで200メートル。
The International Space Station and Soyuz flying over the Pacific Ocean, heading toward the northern tip of South America.
Current range is 205 meters and range rate is near zero. We will continue
Принято.
to fly around towards MRM2. Copy.
Just about 50 degrees left in the fly around.
Состояние слова S.
S parameter is 1.51077.
Ну, этот ДПО включался.
Well, this has to do with the fact that the depot approach and altitude control thrusters were activated.
Soyuz now 200 meters away from the International Space Station.
Саш, я напомню, что
Current range is 200 meters.
Около нуля.
Range rate is close to zero.
у нас причаливание 16:29.
16:29:19. This is the final approach time.
Подтверждаю. 16:29.
That's correct.
Скорее
16:29:19.
всего, в автоматическом режиме пройдет.
And most likely it will be performed in automatic mode. Could you please repeat your last?
Скорее всего, по времени пройдет.
You're saying that it will be performed automatically on time. Copy.
Большой диаметр СМ 1,2.
The large diameter of the service module is approximately the size of 1.2 squares on the screen. Copy.
На Spanish station I love. Сразу стало свой. Есть К-15 тут в Москве.
K-15 indication is illuminated, copy, and also course is in approach mode. Yes, that's affirmative. Course is in approach mode. And we are going to perform the role of maneuver, copy.
So here you can see the Soyuz rotating to have its solar arrays line up in a configuration that will be good for station and for the capsule, as they will remain docked for the next 12 days while the crew is on board. If you're just joining us, take a moment, hit that like, subscribe button. Really does help us out. And if you have a question, keep sending those in the chat. But we are making the final approach here, less than 200 meters until
The International
docking.
Space Station and Soyuz now flying over South America.
метров.
Current range is 180 meters. Range rate is 0. Roll maneuver is about to be completed. Copy.
Есть 2 причала.
Approach flag set on both vehicles. Copy.
The roll maneuver you just heard orients the solar arrays for the docking position.
Along the x-axis is also confirmed. And we were waiting for final approach. Current range is 180 meters and range rate 0.7.
And we have confirmation that final approach has been initiated. Russian flight controllers are happy with the alignment. And again, that final approach has been initiated.
Lights are on, and I'm turning on the headlight now.
Фара включена также.
The headlight is on. Copy.
150 meters now separating the Soyuz from its destination.
метров текущая дальность, скорость на сближение 0,8 Москвы.
So the range is 135 meters and the range rate is 0.8 meters per second. Alexander, we might have LOS at 1634 for about 4 minutes.
Принял.
Copy.
С 34 на 4 минуты.
At 34 for 4 minutes.
Какая вероятность текущая дальность?
Okay, the range is inaudible, 110 meters. And the closing rate is 0.64 meters per second. Copy.
100 метров текущая дальность.
100 meters is the range and 0.5 is the closing rate.
Very interesting to hear that we may have a 4-minute loss of signal coming up in about 3 minutes. So they're kind of threading the needle to see if they'll be docked before that LOS. If not, the Soyuz and the crew will dock. We may not actually have live views of it, but let's keep listening in.
Current range, the docking interface in the middle of the VSCAP periscope and VCO monitor as well, and the range rate is 0.5 meters per second.
80 метров текущая.
80 meters is the range, and 0.4 meters per second is the range rate.
あと70メートル。でかっ。かっこよすぎる。70 метров текущая.
70 meters is the range. 0.3 meters per second is the rate, and the panel decided to reboot itself once again. Copy.
Now just under 70 meters separating the Soyuz and the International Space Station.
And it sounds like they're having some interesting stuff with one of their computers that keeps rebooting by itself. So maybe we'll hear more about that once the crew's safe and docked. They'll be able to do some troubleshooting there. Less than 70 meters until
60 meters
docking.
is the range.
60 meters now
The
to
range
the
rate is
range.
0.26. I can see the target in the center of the crosshairs.
With just over a minute
Copy.
until LOS.
Есть перезагрузка.
Reboot is confirmed.
Yeah. May I take a picture? Yeah. Thank you.
Так, НТО-1 перезагрузился, да?
15 meters, 0.19 meters per second is the range rate.
Wow. Ява.
Так, ожидаем включения ССВП.
We're standing by for unintelligible.
Standing by for contact and capture.
We are expecting a loss of signal anytime within the next
47.
minute.
Is the range, and the range rate is 0.18 meters per second.
Принято.
Copy, Alexander.
ССВП готово. Штанга.
SSVP is ready. The probe is extended, the hooks are open, and the transfer hatch is closed. SSVP docking and internal transfer system is ready.
Принял.
Copy.
40 метров текущий.
40 meters is the current range, and the range rate is 0.14 meters per second.
Наблюдаем мишень в центре.
I can see the target in the center of the crosshairs, and crosshairs are aligned.
Принял.
Copy.
метра.
34 meters is the range, and the rate is 0.9. The target is in the center, and the crosshairs are aligned. Copy.
You can see the Soyuz docking probe on the bottom of your screen.
метров текущий.
30 meters is the range, and the range rate is 0.8. 0.08.
Принято.
The target is in the center, crosshairs are aligned.
25 метров.
25 meters is the range, and the range rate is 0.09.
Принял.
Copy.
Инструкция есть готовность ССВП.
So we can see the signature that SSVP is ready. Docking and internal transfer system readiness is on. Copy.
Ждем база-Р.
We are standing for Bazaar.
22 метра.
22 meters is the range, and the range rate is 0.1 meters per second.
Метров текущий.
18 meters is the range, and the range rate is 0.12. The crosshairs are aligned. The target is 1 square to the right and lower than the crosshair center. Yes, we can see that.
Метров дальность.
The range is 14 meters.
Собрана мишень в центре.
The crosshairs are aligned and the target is in the center.
Принял.
Copy.
Метров.
12 meters.
Мишень в центре.
The target is in the center.
12 скорость на.
The range rate is 0.12 meters per second.
Ширина мишени 2 клетки.
The target width is 2 squares.
Собрана мишень в центре.
Crosshairs are aligned. The target is in the center.
Ожидаю.
2.5 squares is the width of the target. We're standing by for the contact. The crosshairs are aligned. The target is in the center.
Ожидаем касания.
Standing by
go.
for contact.
Есть касание.
Contact is confirmed.
Есть механ соединения, есть цепка СУП Москвы.
And also we have a docking interface in
Contact and capture confirmed at 7:40 a.m. Central Time, 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time, as the International Space Station and the Soyuz MS-20 flew 260 statute miles over the Atlantic Ocean.
Отключаем фару.
Deactivate the headlight, Alexander. This is Moscow.
Now we'll stand by for the relative motion between the vehicle and the station to slow down before the docking probe is retracted on the Soyuz to enable hooks to close to form a hard mate between the Soyuz and the International Space Station.
Yes, that's correct.
126, первый.
126 in number 1, 203 is in the second section.
То цілу дорогу зіданець. Топливо.
Propellant,
496 килограмм.
496 kilograms, 496 kilograms. Do you want me to repeat the numbers? No, I have recorded everything.
Перехожу на 67-ю страницу.
I'm going to page.
Again, docking was confirmed at 7:40 a.m. Central Time, 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time, as the station and the Soyuz MS-20 flew 260 miles over the Atlantic Ocean.
And now that the crew has arrived, the next big event will be the hatch opening ceremony, which we are expecting hatch opening to occur at about 10:35 a.m. Eastern, or about an hour and 45 minutes or so from now. Live coverage will resume before that, but we're going to be staying live all through that time. We'll be live tracking the location of the International Space Station when the camera feeds go down in between. But if it's your first time here, take a moment, hit that like, subscribe button. It really does help us out. We want to see if we can get to 12.5k subs before that hatch opens. And if you guys have questions, keep sending those in the chat. We'll be answering them through this coast phase as we await the crew's arrival at the International Space Station. But MZ is at the ISS and now just has to go through some procedures to open some hatches before he will get to board the International Space Station.
832.
БО.
BO pressure is 8 to 7.
Давление приборного отсека.
Instrument compartment is 864. 864 millimeters. Copy. So the next data recording will be in 5 minutes.
Москвы.
Copy, Moscow.
So now the crew aboard the Soyuz will begin leak checks, reporting those numbers back to teams here on the ground.
Deactivated? Yes, it's a go. Copy.
Мы посмотрим команды, и потом можешь отключить телевидение.
So first, let us
Перехожу на ССВП.
go to SSVP display, and after that you will be able to deactivate TV. Okay? I'm on SSVP display.
And while we wait for some live views, we'll take a look at where the ISS is currently located, where now the capsule is. Currently over the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, heading up towards Paris. That red circle is the possible range where you could actually view the International Space Station. Obviously during the day a little bit harder there, but as it goes into the evening portion, if it does pass over you, take a look up. You might be able to see the ISS, and there is another capsule officially docked to that station. But we're going to keep listening for hard capture and through that final docking process.
Display. In work.
И веди репортаж, пожалуйста.
Alexander, please provide running commentary, if possible. Okay, copy.
Итак, электроразъемы состыкованы.
So the electrical connector domated is illuminated. The hooks are open. Is not illuminated. We're standing by for the LED hooks are closed. Moscow. Copy.
And the retraction of the docking probe has been confirmed. Now those hooks will begin driving.
So now that we do have soft capture confirmed, they can begin the process of driving those hard hooks, which will really rigid the capsule to the International Space Station, giving it a hard capture. And that's when they'll be able to do leak checks between the seals and begin the about 2-hour process of balancing the vestibule and the docking adapters to prepare for those hatch openings.
Крюки закрыты.
The hooks are closed. Moscow is confirmed. Copy.
Защелки выдвинуты.
And we now have confirmation that the Soyuz hooks are closed, and we have a hard mate between the Soyuz MS-20 and the International Space Station.
Защелки втянуты.
Roscosmos playing through some other footage, so we'll keep up the NASA view here.
The lectures are
As a lot of this now turns over to Mission Control Houston with the operations of the International Space Station.
Yozo. Yes. Could you please? Okay. Put it back to 350 or check your tablet. I see. Mm-hmm.
Саш, 5-минутный замер.
Alexander, 5 minutes have passed, so could you please report the data?
Подтверждает суд Москвы.
I'm ready, Moscow. After 5 minutes, the SR pressure is stable, no change. In BO, no change.
ПО также без изменений.
And in instrument compartment module, also no change. So delta 0. So the next one will be in 10 minutes, and there are people at Baikonur Cosmodrome who would like to talk to you. Copy.
Защелки втянуты, суд Москвы.
The lectures are retracted. Moscow signature is on. Copy. Alexander Alexandrovich, this is Rogozin. Good afternoon. Do you copy? Dmitry Olegovich, yes, I copy loud and clear. So, of course, our heartfelt congratulations with the successful docking to the ISS. So, how are our Japanese friends feeling?
I'm really fine. This is MZ.
This is MZ. I'm fine.
Спасибо. Все в порядке, Дмитрий Олегович.
Everything is fine, Dmitry Olegovich. We are working the procedures. Thank you. So please pass on our best regards to them and of the successful mission under your guidance on board the ISS.
Принял, спасибо.
Copy. Thank you. Guys, so our congratulations with the successful docking. Everything was in auto mode. We were watching you. You know, the time flew so fast. It was just so not ago at all. You know, when we were seeing you off at the Cosmodrome, and now you are on the station. Thank you, Sergey. So Moscow, the SSVP mode is executed, the probe is retracted, and I'm sending the command to deactivate SSVP. Copy, and could you please confirm that S13 is illuminated? Yes, the electrical connectors are mated, is illuminated. Copy, then SSVP should be deactivated. Yes, it is deactivated. So I'm doing the recording in the log. On both INPU? Yes, of course.
It's oxygen. Запись журнала сделал.
So the recording of the log is complete, and I'm standing by for the 15-minute leak check data. Yes, we confirm.
Можем выдавать команды Г2, В18.
Is it a go?
And that completes the Soyuz MS-20's flawless launch to dock that began with its liftoff from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at 1:38 a.m. Central Time, 2:38 a.m. Eastern Time, carrying veteran cosmonaut Alexander Mazurkin and Japanese spaceflight participants Yusaku Maezawa and Yozo Hirano.
Reading, and then you will proceed as per page 68, copy in work.
The Soyuz MS-20 lifted off atop a Soyuz 2.1A booster, which performed a series of nominal burns to propel the Soyuz into its preliminary orbit for a 4-orbit, 6-hour journey to the International Space Station. And the Soyuz docked to the Poisk module on the Russian segment of the International Space Station at 7:40 a.m. Central Time, 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time, as the Soyuz and this station were flying 260 statute miles above the Atlantic Ocean. The docking probe on the Soyuz retracted and hooks closed on both sides of the docking interface to form a hard mate between the Soyuz MS-20 and the International Space Station. After docking just moments ago, the crew received some congratulatory words from Dmitry Rogozin, the head of Roscosmos from Baikonur. The crew will now begin a series of leak checks, which should result in the opening of the hatches between the Soyuz and the International Space Station around 9:35 a.m. Central Time, 10:35 a.m. Eastern. We'll be back on air for hatch opening coverage at 9:15 a.m. Central Time.
But we're not actually going anywhere. We're going to be resuming just our live tracker here, keeping an eye on where the International Space Station is. Will we continue answering your guys' questions and just listening to some space tunes as we await that hatch opening and welcome ceremony, with the welcome ceremony expected about 40 minutes following the hatch opening. If you guys have comments or questions, you can drop those in the chat now, and we'll work on answering those as we await the next couple hours for the welcome ceremony, hatch opening and welcome ceremony to begin. If you're just joining us, though, welcome. You just missed the live docking coverage of Soyuz MS-20 to the International Space Station. If it's your first time here, take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Really does help us out. And we'd love to welcome you here at TLP. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow, and we believe space is better together. So we invite you to be active in the chat. Consider joining us over on Discord, and we'll be hanging out for the next couple of hours as we await for the crew to actually get to arrive at the International Space Station. If it's your first time here, let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from. We'd love to welcome you here. Let's see. We got Joe in the chat, New Ed 1. Great to see some regulars in here. Joe says, good job. Yeah, it was a good, clean approach and capture of the vehicle. Soyuz, again, knows what it's doing, but always great to see it have a good, safe approach.
What you have is nothing more than a system of wires and circuits. It can show feelings only to the extent of which you program it to. It will be your friend, no more than the table you built it on will be.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending where you're joining us from. Welcome to our continued live coverage of the arrival of MS-20 to the International Space Station. We are expecting live coverage of their arrival, hatch opening, and welcome ceremony to begin in the next couple of minutes here. Just waiting for both Roscosmos and the and NASA to begin bringing those live views on board the ISS. Thanks to those that were hanging out in the chat as we took that little bit of a commentary break as we waited for this live access to begin. If you guys have questions, you can keep sending those in the chat, but take a moment, share out the broadcast, let people know that we are coming up to the beginning of the welcome ceremony and the arrival ceremony to the International Space Station. Julian, it's a great day in space. Zachary, and your interview went global, so your name will be marked in history. P.S. Joe Vermont. Thanks, Julian. I appreciate that. Super excited with that interview with Denise. Super excited to introduce you guys to Jack today and Jessica tomorrow. And we got some more interviews with some other special guests already in the plans for 2022 with some big missions coming up. So we're excited to share more details with that as those events get closer, so make sure you stay tuned for those. We definitely want to bring a lot more interviews to the launch pad here as time progresses, because it's super important. We're going to be launching a new interview platform kind of system in next year into 2022, which is looking behind the console and getting to connect with the people that actually work behind the console that you don't normally get to see, as they are the ones that really make it happen. And we can see some live views from Roscosmos getting started up here, so we're going to pull down the tunes and wait for the English live coverage to begin here momentarily. But views aboard the International Space Station have been resumed. Currently, the ISS is flying over the Florida Panhandle, actually on a perfect trajectory for if they would have been launching from Kennedy Space Center right now. This is one of the passes that they would have been able to launch their own crew or cargo mission to the International Space Station. I'm going to turn up the Russian audio here, see if they're in English or not. Sometimes they are. Might just have the raw audio of the station, but we'll see. You can see into the Russian wing of the International Space Station where the crew will be coming in.
morning from Mission Control Houston in the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where flight control teams have been on console through the early morning hours working with their counterparts at the Russian Mission Control Center in the town of Korolyov on the outskirts of Moscow for the rendezvous and docking of the Soyuz MS-20 spacecraft, which docked to the Poisk module on the Russian segment of the International Space Station at 7:40 a.m. Central Time, 8:40 a.m. Eastern Time, after completing a 4-orbit, 6-hour rendezvous that began with the launch of the Soyuz earlier this morning. Soyuz Commander Alexander Mazurkin and Japanese spaceflight participants Yusaku Maezawa and Yozo Hirano have conducted leak checks on the Soyuz side of the docking interface. The Soyuz has also transitioned to the International Space Station power and hardline communications. Soon, the small vestibule or passageway between the Soyuz and Poisk module will be pressurized, and those hatches will open. The hatches were scheduled to open around 9:35 a.m. Central Time, but the crew is running just a little bit behind schedule, so we'll continue to monitor their steps for that anticipated hatch opening this morning. Recapping some of the milestones that got the Soyuz MS-20 and its crew to the International Space Station. Liftoff occurred on time at 1:38 and 15 seconds a.m. Central Time, 2:38 and 15 seconds a.m. Eastern Time. Carrying Mazurkin and Japanese spaceflight participants Maezawa and Hirano, they went skyward atop a 2.1A booster. 8 minutes and 46 seconds later, the third stage shutdown and separation happened, shortly followed by the solar arrays and navigational antennas deploying moments later to begin the Soyuz MS-20's 4-orbit journey to the International Space Station. About 6 hours later, the Soyuz MS-20 arrived and docked to the Poisk module on the Russian segment of the International Space Station. The docking probe on the Soyuz retracted and hooks closed on both sides of the docking interface to form a hard mate between the Soyuz MS-20 and the International Space Station.
000 code. 2 code. All right, I've made a note.
The crew will spend almost 12 days on the orbital outpost conducting a program of activities that involve showcasing spaceflight back to the people of Japan. Maezawa and Hirano are making their journey into space under a contract between Space Adventures and Roscosmos. Mazurkin, Maezawa, and Hirano will not become expedition crew members, but rather Mazurkin a visiting crew member and Maezawa and Hirano spaceflight participants.
Everything ready? Goes? Yes, please. And let Yozo coming. Yozo, are you ready? Yes.
I'm ready to copy the measurement results. Yes, Ignat, that's correct, and the pressure has not changed. It is still at 757. Copy 757.
757, все без изменений, да.
757, no change here.
The view you're getting now from inside of the International Space Station Flight Control Room, where teams are being led by Flight Director Pooja Jesrani.
Okay, thank you. Игнат, ИНПУ-1 опять
Ignat, INPU 1 has just rebooted yet again
18:20 где-то.
at approximately 18:20, correct?
Ну, я это зашел
Well,
в 17:20, увидел,
I saw it at 18:20
что в процессе перезапуска.
that it was rebooting at that time.
Yozo, did you pack everything to 350 back? Yozo. Yozo, do you pack everything back? Please, yes, because we don't want to put everything back to this back, and we a little bit in the rush.
If you're just joining us, Russian cosmonaut Alexander Mazurkin and Japanese spaceflight participants Yusaku Maezawa and Yozo Hirano docked to the International Space Station this morning at 7:40 a.m. Central Time. They're currently running through a series of leak checks on their side of the docking interface, setting the stage for vestibule pressurization and the hatches opening, where they'll be greeted inside the station by the Expedition 66 crew, followed by a welcoming ceremony.
What reason you take camera, Yozo? Use this strap for your foot. Okay. Игнат, готов принять?
Ignat, are you ready to copy the measurement results? Yes, I'm ready to copy.
с половиной.
756.5.
Принято.
Copy.
Currently aboard the International Space Station is the Expedition 66 crew. From left to right in this graphic is NASA astronauts Raja Chari and Tom Marshburn, European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer, Roscosmos cosmonauts Anton Shkaplerov and Pyotr Dubrov, and NASA astronauts Kayla Barron and Mark Vandehei.
Да, Петр, мы видим тоже картиночку хорошую, да, в принципе, это сам. Ну, давай сейчас мы будем переключаться, тогда переместись тогда в этот самый, в МИМ 2, включай там камеру, а мы будем переключать сейчас по КРЛ, оттуда сигнал.
Включаем МИМ 2.
Ты их можешь отключить, если хочешь, и ту камеру. В общем-то, мы уже видели.
Это в 18 канале.
Окей. Yes. Uh-huh.
If you're just joining us, Mazurkin, Maezawa, and Hirano are still running through some leak checks on the Soyuz side of the docking interface. The Soyuz has already transitioned to International Space Station power and hardline communication. One of those next milestones will be when the vestibule or passageway between the Soyuz and Poisk module will be pressurized, leading to hatch opening this morning.
Экипаж МКС, СУП Москвы.
Moscow, calling ISS on Space to Ground 2 for Peter. Go ahead and Space to Ground 2. Peter, I was calling you, but if I am wrong, let me know. Altron in 32M.
Moscow, are you ready to copy another reading?
Is it more convenient for you
Yes,
to
we are
do
ready
it,
to copy.
or does Anton need to do it? I can do it myself, so you want me to return it to 32M mode, correct? Yes. Thank you for the confirmation, Peter.
Copy, Alexander.
Once the Soyuz crew floats through the hatch this morning, they'll make their way to the Zvezda service module, where cameras will be set up ahead of the welcoming ceremony, where some dignitaries in Mission Control Moscow will give congratulatory remarks to the crew.
МКС СУП Москвы в канале СГ-2 для Петра.
На связи.
По телевидению.
Докладываю, что перевел электрон в 32 ампера.
Да, Петь, спасибо, приняли. Петь, и, короче говоря, можно включить камеру в МИМ-2.
Камера в МИМ-2 включена. Так, на ЦВКУ пока не наблюдаю картинку.
Принято мы тоже.
А коммутация уже выполнена? Может, там надо соединение камеры?
Да, мы скоммутировали. Посмотри, там, может быть, это самое, отошло где-то соединение.
Well, could you check if the connection is plugged in and not loose? Yes, I will try to check it. Yes, this connector is not very good, and so it's quite possible. Okay, yes, I confirm.
Headache already, no? Okay. You mean you feel something? No? Okay. I see. Right. Yes, right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So please take your seat, your cameras, and check that we don't lose anything in 350. I'm not sure. Is it pocket? Okay.
Экипаж МКС СУПа Москвы.
MCC Moscow ISS on space to ground 2 about patch opening.
Are you ready to copy another measurement? Yes. Alexander, I'm ready to copy.
Go ahead, Mikhail.
756.5, no deltas.
Preliminary data, preliminary time is 1550.
So one more measurement is left, correct?
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. One more.
1550.
Sounds
good.
So what about the spacesuits? Have you made any progress?
We'll be
they've already changed, into their clothes. So all these spacesuits are doffed, correct? Yes, that's correct. I confirm.
На сушку еще не ставил.
But you did not start drying out, correct?
Нет, сушкой я займусь потом.
Not yet. I will do it later on.
Понял.
Copy.
This is Mission Control Houston. The Soyuz MS-20 has completed its 4-orbit, 6-hour journey to the International Space Station. Docking came at 7:40 a.m. Central Time. Mazurkin, Maezawa, and Hirano are still inside the Soyuz spacecraft, running through some final leak checks on the Soyuz side of the docking interface. Next up, that small vestibule or passageway between the Soyuz and Poisk module will be pressurized for hatches to be opened later this morning.
Камеру можно, Петя, так и оставлять, не трогай ее больше.
You can leave the camera as is. Don't touch it anymore.
Саш, давай крайний замер.
Alexander, are you ready with the last reading?
Выполняю. Крайний замер.
Just a minute. The last reading.
MCC, Moscow, on Station 2. I copy. I see the video. I took the video cable from the SM because camera
756.5, no change.
So this adapter is not working very
Copy. Alexander, close ККТ.
Даем очень хорошую картинку, спасибо большое.
Okay, we see the video.
In
Okay,
work.
the video. Thank you very much.
ККТ is closed.
1193.
So, is it a go to perform 1193?
Давление, пункт 11.
Yes, that's correct. You have a go to perform this step 1193. It is
So you're seeing in that bottom right corner some live views from Roscosmos of the family and what they're watching down at around Mission Control as the families await to see these two space tourists and, of course, the Russian cosmonaut arrive at the station. You can now see one of the cosmonauts on board has entered that next module where the hatch is. We'll begin preparations to open that. Very different from where we see Crew Dragon come in, a lot more open space in the U.S. side compared to the Russian module, but they've made as much space as they can for that crew's arrival. If you're just joining us, though, welcome here to the launch pad. My name's Zach. I'm the host here at TLP, watching our live coverage of the launch, docking, and arrival of Soyuz MS-20 at the International Space Station. We know the crew was operating a bit behind schedule. We were expecting them to already be on board and the welcome ceremony to be about 10 to 15 minutes away, but they are running a bit late, so we're going to see what they're going. We know they've been having some issues with one of their computers restarting a number of times by itself through that docking, and it sounds like they're still having that as an issue, but they are progressing with their backups. We haven't heard which computer that is, but it is one that we've seen on the big screen of Mission Control Houston and Moscow, so we are keeping a close eye on that as the morning progresses. If you have questions, you can send those in the chat. We'll be able to answer those live as we await the crew's arrival on board. And we're glad to have you here. If it's your first time here, take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out as well. We're on the road to 15K. We want to see, can we hit 12.5K before the hatch opens in the welcome ceremony? So take a moment, share out the broadcast, let people know that soon MZ and Yozu will be boarding the International Space Station, the first two space tourists of any nation to arrive at the same time. We've had a couple commercial visits. That was the last one, was two commercial astronaut visits to film that movie, but these two are total space tourists. They will be doing some research, but they are there basically for a unique vacation. So we're excited to see what their time will be like. We do know MZ will be vlogging his time and uploading it to YouTube. We're not sure if he's going to be doing that from the station or we'll wait till he returns, but we'll be excited to see what that live footage is like of really what launch day and then time on the ISS is like as a private astronaut and space tourist. We're going to keep listening into Mission Control Houston with their translations of Mission Control Moscow as we await for that hatch open.
Саш, пока ждем.
Alexander, while you are waiting for the hatch opening from the station side, there is a recommendation for you to perform the activation of the vehicle.
Go ahead and stay to ground 2.
It's OBT procedure. It's procedure orbital flight starting with
Misha,
stage
about
25.
the transfer hatch opening, they are telling us we need to work for orbital flight.
Okay, so I'm writing this down. Orbital flight, ODF.
Орбитальный полет.
Минуточку, Антон.
Страница 20.
Page 25. Got it. And up to page...
The view you're seeing now inside the Russian segment of the International Space Station inside the Poisk module. You're looking at the hatchway, and the Soyuz is on the other side of this hatchway. Anton Shkaplerov was just in the view, getting everything ready on the station side to welcome Mazurkin, Maezawa, and Hirano. They'll open up the station side hatch first before Mazurkin opens the Soyuz hatch on his side.
4.5 не выполняем.
4.5 should be skipped. Copy.
Это консервация газоанализатора.
It's a gas analyzer, the activation.
Да, я понял.
Yes, I understand.
Подскажи, пожалуйста, я в предварительной форме 24 видел.
So in the preliminary form 24, I saw the change out of the purification cartridge in BO. So do you give us a go to do that? No, we do not do it, or you do not do it. Copy. You will change out the cartridge in the SA, in descent module. Copy that. So P1 should be changed by P3 cartridge.
P1 на P3.
P1 to P3. Copy.
Так, Саш, пометь еще себе...
Alexander, another reminder, you will have to transfer BMP.
Номер 18.
Number 18
ИПК.
with 3 IPK.
И АФОТ.
And also a fourth filter from MLM.
В смысле, АФОТ хранится в MLM?
You mean a fourth is stored in MLM, correct? Or everything is in MLM? All hardware is in MLM, Alexander. And you will have to transfer it. Okay, so I'm writing this down.
БНП.
BNP unit number 18.
3 ИПК.
3 IPK masks
И АФОТ.
and a fourth filter.
Все верно.
Yes, I confirm.
Есть.
Got it, Moscow.
Russian cosmonaut Alexander Mazurkin inside of the Soyuz at this hour, communicating with flight controllers in Mission Control Moscow.
Alexander, and another information, Unit 2 should not be installed.
Я знаю. Спасибо.
I know about that, but thank you for the reminder. In case of the fire, the BO fan should be deactivated manually.
Okay.
Again, for your awareness. Okay, copy.
Так, и напоминаю...
And another reminder, so 2 spacesuits should be dried in your vehicle and 1 in the vehicle 749. Copy that.
Пока ждем открытия.
So we're still standing by for the hatch opening, or the OSU hatch opening.
Хорошо.
Standing by.
Экипаж МКС СУПа Москвы в канале СГ-2 для Антона.
Russian cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov now in your view on your screen right now, helping to get things set up on the Russian side of the International Space Station.
Операция по открытию люка МИМ-2СУ и сбор документации РК и РС.
Car and RS ODF procedure for opening the hatch. I can read you the exact item. Okay, stand by 1 second.
Пункт 4.12.2.
4.12.2, page 420. Okay, stand by 1.
Сквозная какая?
And the through page, through numbering, which one?
Секунду, сейчас.
And by 1 second, where I'm going to look for it.
Сквозная 50.
Is page 52.
Rubber. And... Так, а пункт еще раз?
4.
Which item?
2.
4.12.2.
Okay. Да, все открыл, спасибо.
Okay, open it.
Хорошо.
Thank you.
Приняли, Антон.
Copy, Anton.
Station Commander Anton Shkaplerov now back in the view on your screen right now, taking some photos.
МКС СУП Москвы в канале СГ-2 для Петра. Его телевидение.
Moscow calling ISS and Space Ground 2 for Peter about ISS in the video.
Yes, and connect to ventilation.
Go ahead and Space Ground 2. Peter, I have a huge request. Look at the monitor.
На мониторчике Байконур.
See if you see Baikonur on the monitor.
Сейчас проверю, пока он выключил.
Мониторчик и камеру тоже включи, пусть работает.
Okay, check. You can turn the monitor on and turn the camera because we're going to be getting ready. Now we need to make sure we can see all the videos.
Hold on. Ага. Ага, под Москвой СГ-2, подтверждаю.
MCC Moscow ISS on Space to Ground 2. I see Baikonur and the camera is connected. Okay, I'll leave it as is. Thank you.
And a little bit here also. Please take a seat to Yozo place. Yes, please, just take a seat. I will switch on the ventilation. Thank you. Do you connect us? Could you please hold this? I believe it's yours. Yeah. С Москвы МКС канал для Александра.
Да, Саш, на связи.
Moscow, Alexander.
Игнат, как слышишь?
Ignat, how do you copy me?
Там
Слышу тебя хорошо.
Я просто думаю, может...
Ждем
Can you
открытия
give us the status
крышки
happening on the
со стороны
station? We are
станции.
standing by for the hatch opening
по-прежнему.
from the side of
Все
the
хорошо.
ISS. All right, so we're just waiting.
18:50.
Саша, вы там, я так понял,
18:55 поставил.
So the time is 18:55.
Сушку, да? Экипаж МКС СУПа Москвы в канале СГ-2.
ISS MCC Moscow on Space to Ground 2.
Игнат, как принял?
Ignat,
Саш, было прерывание связи. Повтори,
Alexander, we
пожалуйста.
had a short LOS. Could you please
МКС СУПа Москвы.
ISS MCC Moscow on Space to Ground 2.
18:55, I started the first spacesuit, actually started the drying.
18:55, первый скафандр.
Go ahead and Space to Ground 2.
Петр, ну, в принципе, со всех сторон готов.
Peter, we're overall ready to open the hatch.
Принято.
Copy. We're ready as well, and we can start. Okay, go ahead and start. We're all waiting here at Baikonur.
Все ждем.
We're here at Baikonur, also looking forward to it.
Так, видим вас хорошо, выглядите прям.
We see you very well. You look great, and the video quality is awesome.
You can also come to this way.
Station Commander Anton Shkaplerov in the view on your screen now, running through some final milestones before he opens the hatch.
MZ, could you please do the same for this one? MZ, could you do the same for this one?
And the hatch is open on the International Space Station side.
What?
Саш, открой люк со стороны станции,
Alexander, the hatch on the
и
station side
можно
is
выполнять
open,
действия в рамке.
so you can perform the
Okay, it's
actions
not a
in the
problem.
box.
Подожди. This one. Я понял.
Так, Петр, Антон, сейчас приступаем к выравниванию.
Peter, Anton, we're starting the pressure equalization from the side of the Soyuz vehicle.
Hatch is open.
Без квитанции.
No response required. This is SMSRP speaking.
Так, Антон, Петр идет выравнивание со стороны.
Pressure equalization is going on from the side of the Soyuz vehicle.
Vestibule pressurization is now underway.
Итак, открываю ККТ, открываю КВД.
I'm opening ККТ and
ККТ
opening
открыл.
КВД. Yes.
КВД открыт.
КВД is open.
Уравнивание давления.
Equalization of pressure is in work.
Так, Антон, с РПСМ или Петр?
Again, vestibule pressurization is now underway, setting the stage for the hatch on the Soyuz side to be opened.
Так, ну вы понимаете, да, что как корабельный люк открывается, вы сразу собираетесь по нашему сценарию в СМ. Потому что мы выходим. Да, всем экипажем станции, потому что вот время у нас уходит уже на то есть на 19, на 18:57 уже уходит время, да. Да, то есть вот это вот ПАО, который на 19:00 у вас запланировано. Это я времена ДМВ вам говорю, это время давления.
Numbers, the time is 16:57, 16:57.
Пока идет,
да. Да, ну там потом, когда выровняется давление, надо еще 2 минуты выждать.
Copy all, 1657, and the crew will be gathering together. That is correct?
Ну да, то есть вот 15:55.
15:55, so there will be TV coverage on arrival.
Поправляюсь, 15, вот имеется в виду вот этот
Adjustment.
15:55,
So that's
16:15.
the PAO that we are planning to have. So that's what we will have.
Да, приняли?
How copy? Yes, we copy all. So we'll gather together and we'll be ready.
Мы вас видим, как
Yes, and we see you. That's a great image.
у нас 15:57.
15:57. We'll have
Station Commander Anton Shkaplerov back in the view right now, patiently awaiting vestibule pressurization before the hatch on the Soyuz side can be opened for him to welcome the Soyuz MS-20 crew.
Как появится связь, у вас должна...
so as soon as you have come, you will see an image, a video from Baikonur.
And if you're just joining us, welcome here to the launch pad, or our live coverage of the Soyuz MS-20 crew's arrival at the International Space Station. The crew is running about an hour behind schedule. We were expecting the welcome ceremony to already have been completed, but safety first, and they now have the first of the 3 hatches open and are beginning to balance the pressure in the vestibule to prepare for those other 2 hatches to open, and then have the crew ingress onto the International Space Station to be welcomed aboard by the expedition crew. And then we'll expect to see that welcome ceremony as well. If it's your first time here, take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help us out. We're on the road to maybe 12.5K today, but 15K by the end of the year. And we are so appreciative of each and every one of you here. If you guys have questions, you can send those in the chat. Just tag us at the launch pad, and we'll be answering those as we get ready for the crew's arrival. But we're going to keep listening in to Mission Control Houston and Mission Control Moscow.
периметру. Пометь, пожалуйста, в 7 часов ровно включил второй скафандр на сушку.
I started the drying out of the second space.
Все, Саш, принято. Спасибо. 2 скафандра на сушке.
Spacesuits now are drying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I confirm.
We can... Yes, MZ, we don't need your tablets on station. Let's hold it here. Okay. Up. Ignat, уточни, пожалуйста, еще.
Ignat, this is Alexander. So what is the station pressure? Is it 765? Yes, it is 765, 765 millimeters. The last time we looked. Okay, copy.
У нас пока 768.
And our pressure is 768 millimeters.
And we're currently in a handover between satellites right now, but we should be regaining communications with the station in the next few minutes. Russian cosmonaut Alexander Mazurkin and Japanese spaceflight participants Yusaku Maezawa and Yozo Hirano docked to the International Space Station at 7:40 a.m. Central Time.
Copy. Yes, let's wait for 2 minutes.
The crew on the Soyuz side and station side just waiting for that final go to open the hatches on the Soyuz side. Again, the crew will spend almost 12 days on the orbital outpost, conducting a program of activities that involve showcasing spaceflight to the public. Maezawa and Hirano are making their journey into space today under a contract between Space Adventures and Roscosmos. Mazurkin, Maezawa, and Hirano will not become expedition crew members, but rather Mazurkin a visiting crew member and Maezawa and Hirano spaceflight participants.
Минута вышла, еще минуту жду.
So 1 minute is up. I'm waiting for the other one.
Так, давление стабильно, да?
The pressure is stable, right, Alexander?
767.
It's 767 now.
Принято.
Copy, Alexander.
Продолжаем.
Continue.
Игнат, 2 минуты вышло, давление...
Ignite. 2 minutes are up and the pressure is stable. Close KKT. Copy in work. KVD also should be closed.
Закрываем КВД.
Station Houston on space
And
2 for Tom.
now you have a go to open the hatch cover. Copy in work.
Крышку люка.
And Peter and
So
Anton,
I will
the
release
Soyuz
the
crew
push
is
to talk
beginning to
button
open
and
the
I'm
hatch.
opening the hatch now.
Саш, ну надо будет потом вернуться там.
Sasha, you will have to go back to the vehicle later on because you have some actions there to
Go
perform.
ahead on SG2.
Yes, of course. After the PO
Peter?
event, I guess.
Back in the Poisk module, European Space Agency astronaut Matthias Maurer has joined Anton Shkaplerov.
All right.
We are all here together.
Дашь номера пунктов, которые мне выполнить самому.
So you will give me the reference to the steps that I'm supposed to perform later on? It's page 82, Alexander.
Maurer taking some photos of the crew out of view right now.
A box, you will have to deactivate the purification cartridges in BO. Ignat, I won't be able to memorize it all right now. So could you please give me a reference to the steps? Okay, step 12.3, page 82, the actions in the box.
Hey, just to let you know, since the
If
PA
the crew is on the station. Okay, step 12.3 and ODF.
slide that to the right.
What procedure is that?
Ultrasound exam is also flexible. We can also slide that to the right.
Did you copy, Ignat? You can open the hatch. Now, you have a go to open the hatch. So I'm recording these steps. So what ODF is that? It is a short profile
Then you don't have to do the calibration activity.
procedure. Okay. I understand. You won't be waiting for me. All right. So after the PO, I will perform 12.3, and then we'll do the activation as per the procedure. The activation of the vehicle. Yes, I confirm everything is correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Soyuz hatch opening is now underway. And the Soyuz hatch is now open at 10:11 a.m. Central Time, 11:11 a.m. Eastern Time. First in, Soyuz Commander Alexander Mazurkin.
Don't let the hatch close and leave the other two locked in. You can see the excitement quickly squeezing through out to a bigger module, and there's MZ officially boarding the International Space Station. You can see taking his time, enjoying that, remembering that moment. Sounds like some raw audio from on board.
Next is spaceflight participant Yusaku Maezawa.
There's the other one filming, which is so awesome.
And the final crew member to cross the hatch, Yozo Hirano.
Still getting their zero gravity legs.
Again, the Soyuz hatch opened at 10:11 a.m. Central Time. Now 10 residents aboard the International Space Station. With the Soyuz MS-20 crew now aboard the International Space Station, the crew will make their way to the Zvezda service module, where cameras will be set up ahead of the welcoming ceremony, where dignitaries in Mission Control Moscow will give congratulatory remarks to the crew.
Station Moscow, SG-1, Pyotr, Anton, we are transitioning the TV signal to the SM. Copy, we are in the SM. Pyotr, please take the wireless mic and get ready for the event.
So they're going to squeeze them all in there.
Wireless mic is ready, monitor is on, camera is on.
I think you can see both the excitement and the emotion on MZ's face of, wow, this is actually happening. 10 people now aboard the International Space Station.
Is the welcoming ceremony, where actually friends and family in Baikonur will be giving congratulatory remarks to the crew.
And there's the 10th one floating in, all in the Russian section of the ISS.
The view now inside this Zvezda service module. The Soyuz MS-20 crew in the front, and Soyuz Commander Alexander Mazurkin on the right of your screen.
Moscow Station and SG-2, we are ready. Hello, friends. I can see you, and I'm so happy to hear you. And we're happy to hear you and see you, and we're happy for the successful docking. Well done. I love you. Thank you, Mom. Thank you. Hooray. Congratulations. Thank you for your support. Sasha, you only have 4 minutes. Please pass the mic.
This view of the friends and family in Baikonur.
We love you all. Yes, of course. I love you too. Thank you.
Did you hear me? My tone is already high. Growing? Not yet. But already started. 帰ってきたらいっぱい話聞かせてね。気をつけて帰るんだよ。ありがとうね。帰ってきたらいっぱい話聞かせてね。いいよ。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。ありがとう。
Station Moscow on SG2 for Pyotr. Please turn on camcorder 200 for MPG streaming. Copy in work. Moving on to SG2 for the crew.
And just like that, the crew is on board the ISS. There was a little bit of ground station cut out just based on their current location.
Well, required, we can continue the conversation. Unfortunately, we cannot send up video now. We can only receive the video from you.
This is because they're going over the Pacific Ocean. There'll be no real ground stations for a little bit, but we can at least see them.
Your mic is not working on SG2. Thank you. We are happy to be with you, friends. How do you copy us? Copy you loud and clear. Okay, Alexander, Anton, we are out of the broadband com coverage. I think we can complete this event and you can move on to the nominal post-arrival operations. We congratulate you wholeheartedly. We are happy to see the entire crew together. Thank you for your work. Please take time to rest. And Alexander, we still have some ops to do in this Soyuz, so we will continue after that. Now you can deactivate the setup, and Piotr, you can restore nominal com config. Copy, in work. Moving on to SG1. Good copy. Station Moscow on SG2 for Piotr. You are go to shut down video cameras in the SM, in the MRM.
Just a nice close-up there.
Remove the broadband com monitor. You will need it tomorrow, so you can leave the connectors mated.
But with that, MS-20 is at the International Space Station. They knew they were going to have this welcome ceremony, but unfortunately, due to the delay, they didn't have as much of a solid signal for as long as they were hoping to be able to go through all of the families. But they'll be up there for 12 days, so they will get to have some more communications. But they wanted to still finish up some stuff on the Soyuz, making sure that it's ready in case of any emergencies, as there's still work to do to make sure that they are ready to go in case that were to occur. And then they'll be able to settle in, get some rest, and get a tour of the station and begin enjoying their 12 days aboard the International Space Station. But I believe that's going to do it for us here this morning, this evening, this afternoon, depending where you're joining us from. If you guys have any last questions, you can send those in the chat, and we'll be answering those as we wrap up. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Double checking those Russian feeds, and both of them went down pretty much immediately. So that is it. MS-20 aboard the ISS. Now, that's not all for us here on the launch pad. We've got a very busy 24 more hours ahead of us. We've got the launch of the, double check the order here so we quote them right. We have Rocket Lab launching this afternoon, so we hope you'll join us for that, followed by a Falcon 9 this evening, and then early tomorrow morning, we have New Shepard taking 6 more suborbital space tourists up, including the daughter of the first ever American in space, Alan Shepard, and the host of one of the U.S.'s biggest TV shows, Michael, former, blanking on his name. Michael is going up. I'll have his name for that live stream, but we're excited to bring you all that live coverage as the day continues. But that is going to do it for us here this morning in our live coverage of the launch and docking of MS-20 to the International Space Station. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss another live launch coverage, special event, exclusive interview. We have another interview dropping this afternoon at 1:30 p.m. Mountain Time, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, so we hope you'll join us for that as we introduce you to Jake Hathaway, one of NASA's newest astronaut candidates. And for now, that is going to do it for us. Oh, the name of MZ's YouTube channel. I will find that, and we'll put that over on our Discord, and we'll tweet it out as well. I believe it's, I know on Twitter it's YouSuckMZ is his Twitter, so if you follow him there, I'm sure he will tweet out when he does some videos. Not sure if he's going to be tweeting or doing YouTube while he's up there, or just enjoying that time filming, and then we'll do the editing and upload once he's back here on Earth. But we'll see. But for now, that's going to do it for us here at the launch pad here at TLP. It's our mission to inform and inspire the explorers of tomorrow. We believe space is better together, and we invite you to hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps us out. But for now, this is Zach signing off. We'll see you later today.